Welcome to another episode of Week in One, where we recap the stories that made headlines this week. I'm Malungelo Pui. Several parts of South Africa are on edge. Service delivery protests have rocked the country as people take their anger to the streets. It has political leaders scrambling, with many using the opportunity to campaign ahead of the May elections. Masego Ratlacha takes us through what has been unfolding.
The nation in protest. People fighting for basic services. In the capital, residents and police clash.
Been writing petition, we have been protesting. This road have been closed so many times. It is not because now, we have been started a long time ago. The problem is that we haven't got an attention. But I think it was our mistake that we didn't take ourselves serious. Now we are taking ourselves serious. We are going to protest. We are going to close road. We are going to shut down track. That's the only way they can hear us. Even if it has to delay the elections, let it be. Because it has been too long.
Long time we were writing a petition, so we are tired. That's why we are here today, because we want service delivery.
Arresting the wrong people party. They're keeping the Nigerians and the money.
Just 100 kilometers away, similar scenes in Orange Grove, where residents are complaining about an incomplete clinic and housing.
I see the president is flanked by Gauteng Premier David Makura.
Less than 9 kilometers from there, Alexandra is on knife's edge. After a week of fiery protests, President Cyril Ramaphosa arrives.
Insurance is just flowing in the streets of Alexandra. Your mayor has said that he is not going to come now. I said, let me wait so that the mayor, who is responsible, should come first.
The shutdown protests didn't end in Gauteng. In Strand, outside Cape Town, land invasions continue. Residents are vowing to continue erecting their structures here, despite opposition from local authorities.
First and foremost, we don't want to fight against them. We just do what we want to get the government attention. So we don't want to fight with the rent ends. So we're gonna do our checks again.
As the May 8th election approaches, many believe these protests are the only way politicians will address their concerns. It's a violent reality that's here to stay until people get what they want. Masego Ratlacha, Johannesburg.
Exclusive Books will be opening a case of malicious damage to property and intimidation against ANC supporters. That's after they trashed journalist Peter Louis Mayberg's book on Ace Magashule. The vandalism has been described as despicable and repulsive. Tsehohacho Muahi has more.
Absolute chaos. And those leading the charge were resolute about not backing down.
If you have read that book, you would realize the ferocity and the tenacity of the attacks, which contained in that particular book, without any substance. By the way, the reason the youth league in the Free State responded is because that book speaks about the ANC in the Free State, government in the Free State, and we know that those things are lies are not true.
But the mother body isn't impressed. In a statement, the ANC expresses its disgust and the disruption of the book launch. It also says the Free State Youth League statements will be retracted and a book-burning event scheduled for Monday will be cancelled. Others soon join the chorus of condemnation, with the DA saying it will lay criminal charges against councillors involved, while the EFF has called it thuggery.
It's orchestrated, it's well planned, the leadership of the ANC is well aware of it. That's your new Dawn veteran. That's how the new Dawn, which you praised and overpraised over time, is now showing you flames. Literally.
And the Deputy President also had his say.
Probably it's out of anger and hoping that they are supporting the SG, and this is very wrong. Very wrong.
The author himself agrees the ANC is divided on this matter.
There seems to be a lot of disunity in the party in terms of how to handle this book, in terms of what its approach is going to be.
Meanwhile, SANEF says such blatant suppression of freedom of speech has no place in democracy. And the man who's the subject of it all, Ace Magashule, is himself calling on his supporters to stop any other actions planned around the book. In the meantime, Exclusive Books, where the launch was held, will be opening a case of malicious damage to property and intimidation. Johannesburg.
A look at corruption inquiries now. Bantu Holomisa struggled to back up allegations he made against 2 companies at the PIC inquiry. The UDM leader faced fierce cross-examination. Heidi Jokos reports.
A battle of wits. Bantu Holomisa had to defend allegations he made against 2 companies, Lebashe Investment Group and Harith, when he testified a few weeks ago. Lebashe's legal team wanted facts on the table, but it appears Holomisa didn't have tangible evidence.
The question is, you said before this commission when you testified the last time, you said, I do not possess the tools to verify the information. Now you're saying you are stating them as fact.
These are facts based on the research I've made, but in order to verify the authenticity of or otherwise of those allegations, they have the tools.
And on the evidence that I have given you, you have no...
Burger lashed out at Holomisa for continuing to make claims against the company despite a court interdicting him from doing so.
When you came before this commission, you didn't come with facts, you came with questions. Your real agenda is to boost your political agenda at the expense of the dignity and reputation of my clients.
Well, unfortunately, I'm a public representative. And also, I've got a direct interest in the management of the pension funds in this country. So I'm not doing it for self promotion or whatever, or an agenda. So I take a strong exception in what you are saying.
Holomisa is claiming the directors of Lebashe, as well as a former PIC employer and the former Deputy Finance Minister Jabu Moleketi, all illegally benefited from a PIC investment. Holomisa will continue to be cross-examined on Monday. Heidi Jokos in Pretoria.
State Capture Inquiry Chair Raymond Zondo may have a conflict of interest. Mention of his younger brother has thrown a spanner in the Commission's work. Former IPID boss Robert McBride mentions Advocate Mxolisi Zondo in his papers, but the legal team does not think it's a deal breaker for the Deputy Chief Justice. Here's Aaron Bates.
To classified documents.
After 2 postponements, former head of police watchdog IPID, Robert McBride, has finally begun his evidence.
So help me God. So help me God. Thank you.
He names some 30 to 50 people in his papers.
Before we start, Mr.
Among
McBride,
them, former police minister Nathi Nhleko, former prosecutions boss Sean Abrams, and former acting National Police Commissioner Khomotso Phatlane. What's more, he's named the chairperson's brother.
Should you recuse yourself at all, given the attitude of the affected parties, none of whom seek his recusal?
The legal team's position, not a big deal.
The issue at stake regarding the disciplinary inquiry conducted by Mxolisi Zondo is at best, and Mr. McBride may disagree, but in our assessment is at best a collateral issue.
On then to a whole host of law enforcement agencies, including the police, Hawks, SIU, NPA, SSA and AFU.
A number of litigations, court cases, judgments have indicated and led me to firmly believe that there was an attack on anti-corruption institutions.
McBride says criminal intelligence officers from the police meddled in IPID's work.
Generally, there's a problem, and there is actually what we call in IPID a blue curtain
Police ministers, he's testified, would classify documents to prevent IPID scrutiny. And thanks to cloak and dagger culture, corruption ran rife.
There's been rampant abuse and a sense of impunity in the exercise of the usage of the Secret Service account of crime intelligence.
Thank you, Chair.
We are Chair.
Erin Bates, Johannesburg.
ENCA's election bus is on the move. We'll track some of the stops the team is making.